What's going on? It's your man Mouse C Cheeks for Life 219 TV Midwest Connected, man. And on this one right here, Cheeks for Life. And once again, GoFundMe. It's not life insurance. And if you out there in the streets, put some money on your own head before somebody else do. But on this one right here, man, I want to touch on Shark Tank. Now, I'm a big fan of Shark Tank. Drop something in the comments if you like the show Shark Tank. My man Damon, John, Mark Cuban, and I like how they, it's a business program. So I like to see, stuff get involved right. But on this one right here, I always knew it was something other. And I don't know if y'all heard, it's my man Bubba Ribs. He had a rib joint. And his rib situation had a situation he won on Shark Tank, but now they talking about how my man Damon John bamboozled him at that situation. So I'm gonna drop this video, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this right here, man. This is something important for all my business people to know and to look at, especially if you think about going on Shark Tank.
It was a TV show I enjoyed.
Fair use, a YouTube video.
Watching years ago. Seeing innovative or sometimes just plain wacky business ideas being presented, and then having the business moguls like Mark Cuban and other millionaires reject the idea, or if they like it, try and buy into the idea, was an interesting topic. Unfortunately, over the years, more and more shady information has come out about the show and how it actually operates, and it no longer is something I can enjoy. Many bad deals have gone down, and many people who were on the show feel they were scammed by Shark Tank. You can find a lot of these stories online, but over the past month or so, one of the biggest scandals the show has ever seen has started to be exposed. The Baker family, who ran the company known as Bubba'S Boneless Baby Back Ribs, were on Shark Tank during season 5 of the show and ultimately made a deal with Shark Damon John that led to their company making over $16 million in sales.
Now here's the thing. You see where the buck stopped. As soon as they tried to get over on the brother, it went left. Drop something in the comments, man, because I always wondered, once the deal get made, what goes on past that point, you know what I'm saying? You got to watch that. They millionaires, billionaires putting in the use. So a lot of these is just paperwork. That shows a lot of business is just paperwork getting pushed side to side. But he pushed the wrong one on this one.
Sales in a few short years. Sadly, this turned into a nightmare for the Bakers, who claim Damon and his team scammed them out of all of the profits, leaving them with only $650,000 to their name and not the millions their product actually generated. Bubba'S, which was created by former NFL player Al Baker, was a unique product that the Sharks felt had real potential.
Well, 600-some thousand wasn't bad now, but if we was prospected to make millions. That's why when you're taking on a business partner, got to be on your paperwork.
Bubba had created the first boneless baby back ribs and had patented the deboning process so that no other company could copy his method of deboning.
Also, he had his own McRib style joint with some rib meat.
Baby back ribs. Unlike pressed pork products made to look like a stack of ribs, like the infamous McRib, this was a full stack of deboned real ribs that could revolutionize the industry. Shark Damon felt that the best way to market this was to get Bubba to stop selling their own boneless ribs and instead license their patented boneless technology to the meatpacking industry.
Now that right there sounded suspect. As soon as he hooked up with her, he wanted him to stop selling them. And now you shouldn't stop selling them. We finna patent it out to somebody else, which of course he getting a percentage of the patent. So already he getting them to switch up paperwork, which finna end up with his name since he finna be one of the primary investors.
His deal for giving them $300,000 and getting 30% of their company required they find a licensing deal for their boneless technology. Now, what many people don't know is that
so see, he put it in the contract. Paul, you know how they offer him the deal, like, okay, we'll give you this, I give you this, with so much stake in the company. So he offered him $300,000 up front, so much stake in the company. I guess that's part of the 600-some thousand that they got. But if you listen, he put in the agreement that he wasn't doing it unless they get a license person, because basically he probably thinking bigger. But hey.
The deals shown on the show are just basically handshake deals, and they are not binding contracts. Over a third of the deals that take place on the show actually fall apart after the cameras stop rolling, and many more deals are altered as well. The Baker family had their deal altered by Shark Damon after the cameras turned off and ended up with a deal of just $100,000 for 35% of their company. Damon claimed this was because the bakers refused to license their technology and wanted to sell all their own prepackaged meats. However, the bakers deny this claim, and this was only the start of their headaches dealing with the Shark Tank star. Shortly after their deal with Damon, before their episode had aired on TV, the Shark told them they needed to get a new website set up to cash in on the massive influx of sales that would happen whenever a product was featured on Shark Tank. Damon got them in touch with Nate Holzapfel, who was a former contestant on the tank that had made a deal with Damon a year before. Since appearing on the show, Nate had become close friends with Damon and was put in charge of the other company's websites.
So now here go the overlay for the underplay. And he brings in somebody that he got basically just working for him now. He brought him on, dude, and took a whole nother job. He looked different. You feel me? That's how you know he's getting money. But he asked them for when he said when they didn't do the deal, and then he brought in somebody else for them to sign their stuff under. So he probably brought in this dude after he see y'all didn't want to do it his way and get the license. But which, come on, man.
And managed their
Can we say some shady business?
e-commerce operations. Nate was also put in charge of the Baker's business account, which is something they were uncomfortable with, but agreed to at Damon's request. According to the Bakers, their relationship with Nate.
So when he put dude over the business account, he already had the fix in. Damon I see what he got, what he did, his part of the scam. He just used this dude to pull off whatever he want to do. So that way, whatever go down, he gonna say, yo, that's between them and this company. I just kind of knew what was going on, and I was the spokesman for the show. And he got his cut.
Quickly deteriorated. On the day their episode aired on Shark Tank, the new website Nate built received over $250,000 in sales in just a few days, which was twice what they had made the year before. Sadly, this joyous occasion turned to heartache as they found out Nate had forgotten to add a sales tax collection to the orders they received on the website, and this forced the Bakers to have to issue refunds to a large portion of their initial customers. After continued issues with Nate, the Bakers no longer wanted to work with him and tried to get Damon to remove him from running their company. Damon initially told them to keep working with Nate, but eventually allowed them to cut ties with him. The Bakers' business bank account, which was run by Nate, had hundreds of thousands of dollars in it, which Nate took all of, giving only $8,000 to the Bakers. The Bakers, who were furious, went to Damon and asked him why this happened, to which he said that Nate deserved the money, according to the Bakers. When asked about this by the Los Angeles Times, Damon claims he doesn't remember what he said, as that was 10 years ago. While Damon initially praised
Of course, I ain't gonna remember if I told you that somebody deserved a deal from you.
Nate and worked with him on various Shark Tank deals, all of that ended a few years ago when the many
Because the 100,000 he took out of there, Damon got his cut out of that on the back end. Come on, he from Queens now.
criminal activities Nate was a part of came to light. As of 2023, Nate is currently out on bail, awaiting trial in the state of Utah, where he faces 15 felony charges ranging from communications fraud, theft, and abuse against women. According to the allegations, Nate, who was married at the time, would meet 15 felony charges ranging from communication.
As you can see, Nate was just he was already dirty. So he done brought this dude in. So basically he just took the money. Because that's what he was on anyway.
Communications fraud, theft, and abuse against women. According to the allegations, Nate, who was married at the time, would meet women on Tinder, seduce them, and convince them to sign over their homes to his business, which he would then sell and keep all the profits. While Nate hasn't been convicted of any of these crimes yet, it was enough for Damon to cut ties with him, and they no longer have any business relationship. Now, while it may be easy to say all the Bakers' problems are just because of Nate, that wouldn't be true, because even after Nate left the picture, their relationship with Damon continued to sour. The Bakers eventually found a company called Ristilli Food Group, which is going to produce all the boneless ribs and give the Bakers a licensing cut of 45% of all the net profits. When the Bakers told Damon about this deal, he was not pleased and sent them a disapproving.
That's why he wanted the license, but he wanted to find a licensed person of his ilk. See, because these dudes was going to give him a better deal,
email, which was obtained by the LA Times. Damon said, "I'm beginning to understand how much you do not understand what working with Shark Tank is doing for you and your business," he wrote in May 2015. "You are part of the Shark Tank family. You and anybody that you have put on camera is now my personal responsibility. I have to report back everything I can to keep Shark Tank producers and ABC up to date." He added, "You will no longer be of interest to the show to promote because there is another season about to be shot, and every shark has their top 5 Bubba'S of the world they are trying to keep promoting." John said
That was his way of like, I'm finna cut the task because this ain't working out.
it was important for him to meet with the Rastellis to see if it felt that they were a fit for the business before doing anything, including putting them on an update of the show. The Bakers, not wanting to rock the boat, allowed Damon to renegotiate the deal with the Rastellis, which then created a new company, FOF Bakers LLC. Baker was the managing partner with a 45% stake and 100% ownership of the patents. Rastelli got 35%, and Damon John got 20%, according to the Bakers. The deal initially worked well.
So what he did was he made him redo the contract, but threw him 20% in there. See, first he wasn't supposed to get that. It was going to be just boom, boom. That's why he didn't like the deal, because he wasn't in it. Now he redid the same deal with him, which put himself in.
Patents, Rastelli got 35%, and Damon John got 20%, according to the Bakers. The deal initially worked well for the Baker family, and they began to receive $25,000 checks frequently as part of their licensing deal. The ribs were even featured on the QVC Home Shopping Network and sold out multiple times. With sales continuing to grow, the Bakers received projections from Damon's team that they estimated that the company would soon be generating $74,000 in profit a month. Despite things looking good, just a few months into the party.
I see, they didn't told them, because, hey, see, that's where the problem started. You tell them motherfuckers December 25th, and they said they've sent them some, selling them that by March of the next year, the company would be generating $75,000 a month. This is all that pre-estimated shit, but you can't count what ain't in your hand, especially when you messing with Damon John, the Shark Tank, I see.
$4,000 in profit a month. Despite things looking good, just a few months into the partnership, payments to the Bakers began to dwindle to just pennies. Baker contacted Damon's team multiple times to find out why payments had stopped, with one email he shared stating, "I have some financial concerns, and a 14-month period of no profits in the form of disbursements make this something that needs to be discussed in person." According to the Bakers, Damon's team kept telling him it wasn't a big deal, and things would soon start to turn around. In April of 2017, Damon was able to secure a deal with Carl's Jr. and Hardee's to feature the Baker's boneless ribs on a new sandwich, the Baby Back Rib Burger, which was featured in over 3,000 restaurants around the country for a limited time.
Here we are, Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, and right in front of us sits one.
Right in front of us, and after a while, we got the word out, and Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, who said, you know what, we make some of the most amazing burgers in the world.
So it's actually a rib on top of a beef.
It is
It's meat on meat.
Now that look fire though. Straight up rib on that look fire though. So that was a money maker right there. I want to take a man, but the business is dirty, baby.
It's meat on meat.
It is a boneless baby back rib on top of a burger.
That's a real rib. I mean,
This is a real rib. This is not the processed stuff that you may see from other places where they, they put a bunch of gook on like a waffle that's shaped like a rib.
That deal totaled $5.8 million, and the Bakers thought for sure this was finally where their luck would turn around. Sadly, that was not the case, and after all the revenue came in, the Bakers only made $3,000 in net.
Did you hear that? A $5.8 million deal, and they got $3,000. Damon John, hell yeah, you played them.
Profit. At that point, the Bakers weren't interested in pursuing any other large contracts until the accounting issues were fixed, and refused to continue to work with Damon and the Rastelli Group, which led to them being sued by the Rastellis in 2019, with Damon's team joining the lawsuit against the Bakers as well. That lawsuit eventually ended in arbitration, and the Bakers were awarded a payment of $100,000. Unfortunately for the Bakers, things have not improved, and their product, which is still manufactured by the Rastelli Group, now makes them almost no money at all. Al Baker was forced to sell his home at a loss, and his truck was repossessed after the accumulated over $170,000 in lawyer fees. The Bakers, unhappy with how things turned out, began publicly speaking out against both the Rastelli Group and Damon John a few months ago. regularly posting to social media platforms to tell their story about how they feel they were conned by Damon John.
Did you see my dad and I on Shark Tank pitching our patented boneless ribs? Well, unfortunately, our experience has turned out to be a nightmare since partnering with Damon John and Rastelli Foods. You can read all about our experience in a new article written by an award winning investigative journalist with the LA Times. And unfortunately, we weren't the only small business affected by Damon John and Rastelli Foods. I'll be sharing more to help encourage other small businesses to speak up against corporate injustices.
After these clips began to surface and the LA Times released an article about the situation, Damon's reputation began to take a hit. Unwilling to see his image tarnished, Damon filed a restraining order against the Baker family that prevents them from speaking further about Damon
Like, yo,
until
man, I
a
ain't
court
got
hearing
5 mil
can be
out of
heard
y'all.
about the situation. Damon then released a video on his social media accounts calling the allegations against him false, and then he was the one that was the victim in this whole situation.
So I'm making this video to address this LA Times article that Bubba Baker and Brittany Baker intentionally broke their confidentiality and put out and shopped to this reporter. And at best, it's not true, and that's me being kind. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to always stand up for yourself, no matter what position you get in life, just like I am. Don't sit back and think, oh, the truth is going to set us free because I have the truth, but I'm under confidentiality and I can't put the truth out there in detail. But public opinion also could potentially affect your family, your loved ones, the people that have worked on this project and invested in it. When your family's out there and because of public opinion, these people now, after the LA Times article is out, they're online damn near harassing me at this point and putting up a lot of falsities, and I will not stand for that. I'm always going to stand up for myself.
It's unfortunate
Harassing you, yeah. After you done took 5.8 million.
to see the Bakers, who went on Shark Tank to help fulfill their American dream, now in massive debt after having to legally fight Damon and the Rastelli Group multiple times. Damon's past action of hiring a former contestant to run the Bakers online store, who is now facing decades in jail for his crimes, as well as several other Shark Tank for the business before doing anything poorly by Damon and his team, leave him in a very bad light. My hope is that the Bakers can someday turn this company around and make this a profitable business after they are able to cut ties with Damon and move past their current legal fight with him. With that being said, let me know below what you believe is the true story. Were the Bakers screwed over by Damon and his team, or do you feel the Bakers are the ones in the wrong? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Yo, this is what I think. You know, this is what I think, fam. I'm gonna tell you what I think, man. I think my man got Lizzie. At first, I was listening for what was this? Was I want to get? I was trying to see, what was the issue? You know what I'm saying? What was done? But you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to know what was the issue, bro. You know what I'm saying? What was the issue, man? What was the issue, man? What was the issue, bro? Drop something in the comments, man. The 5.8 million. That was what the tipped them over. You listen to everything after they got that 5.8. So that just showed you when you get in the bed with big business with people that's pockets deeper than yours, it's always about paperwork party, man. Get your paperwork in order, man. Cause seemed like to me, he was setting up paperwork and making deals off the business. He was initiating and facilitating the deals, putting them down to get a percentage of the deals. Cause since they parking, it was their product, but they was getting a very small percentage. That's how the big dogs play. So you know when you got something. When somebody with money still trying to sell what you got, that means it's worth something. So do your due diligence. Try to tap in with the right people. Let me know what y'all think. That the Bubba get played, man. Do they need to break off some of that 5.8? Y'all let me know, man. Drop something in the comments. It's Mal C. Chiefs for Life 219 TV. Ain't go fund me. It's not life insurance. And Damon might need something if he running the big Bubba out in the streets. You feel what I'm saying? That's crazy. 5.8, you get 3,000 off of that?